Hi, Sonder family. Yes, Greta, we are here for the monthly setup. Yeah, there's a lot at the end of the month to keep straight. And I even pulled up my slide deck. So I was like, wait, what are we doing tonight? We did the weekly this morning, and then we'll have another weekly tomorrow morning, and we'll have another monthly tomorrow evening. Um, anyway, it's good to see you. Hi, Amanda. Thank you. Yeah, you've got Jennifer Ogilvy on the call tonight in front of the camera, and behind the scenes, our co-facilitator is Maya Martin Glenn. And so she's hanging out in the chat with you. And this is actually our second monthly setup to do together. We did one Friday night. And so we're back. Thank you to those of you who are dropping your kind words. You've been with me already this weekend. I have shared the two setups that I've done that this has been a really tough week for me. And if you've come to plenty of my setups, you know that I have alcoholics in my life. I'm an adult child of an alcoholic, and I work my program to be the best me I can be. I've shared with you about my brother, and unfortunately, he kind of rebounded and or fell off his sobriety journey, and it ended up we have now found out that he had a heart attack, and so he is not with us anymore, and that happened this week. Now, I'm okay because many of you know I talk about my faith also, and so that is really helping. I'm feeling the prayers of those of you who are the praying type, and I really wanted to be with you because I love you. And just having this to do, to prep and think about and dive into a new month with friends. I'm not alone. This virtual community is amazing. And so, my journal's not set up. I don't have my examples to show you tonight, but I'll be working together with you. I've actually started my mood tracker, and we always say to show up as you are, that this community loves you. And so I'm showing up and just sharing with you. It's been hard, but I'm really grateful to have y'all. Really grateful for a coworker like Maya who's kind of protected me this week and making sure I was okay. So we're going to get on with the setup. And I know every one of you knows what loss is like, and you do move on and you do move forward. And so I'm just really honored to be able to be with you. I feel like you're holding my hand tonight. So thank you for indulging me. I know that there were some messages going by that many of you might have been a little curious about when you saw that folks said they were thinking about me. And thank you very much. Um, Cindy said she's looking forward to moving this month. We always ask you that question. What is something that you're looking forward to this month? Um, and yeah, so you guys, thank you. And feel free, yeah, if you've got a little something to share, feel free you can do a host and panelist, and then you don't have to let everybody see you. But I find lots of joy in you. I am also gardening, Lisa. I am going to do a lot of gardening, and looking forward to digging in the dirt. And I am not good when I'm still. I'm better when I'm moving and I'm engaged in things. And I know every morning I wake up and I'm very sad and I cry in my coffee because my brain is empty. I haven't had time to think of anything else. And then I get going, and I'm just feeling better, and I'm thinking about my brother. I'm already thinking about, like, I'm going to make a little spot in my garden to sit and reflect, to be with him in his spirit. So I'm already thinking about that. You guys you're celebrating your mom's birthday month. I love that. Happy birthday, Marissa. Her birthday is this month. If you have a birthday, please drop that in the chat. Let us celebrate you. So yeah, I'm just grateful that we have this time together. So we always share these community guidelines when we come together as a community, just to remind everybody that this is a safe space. which is why I'm here tonight. And there, we just hold that space for one another. We always remind you that this is a place to elevate your emotional health. Another reason why I'm here with you tonight. But we are responsible for our own emotions, well-being, and decisions. Okay, so I see so many familiar faces here. But if you are joining a social for the first time, we would love to welcome you. Just say me, it's me. And let us give you a welcome. When you carve out this time for setting up your journal, for hanging out with the Sonder community, I'm sorry, I'm going to say you've joined a cult. you, you've come to Silk and Sonder community, the Sonder Club. We are just the best virtual community you could ever imagine. So we want to be, yes, the very good kind of cult, Michelle, and we want to welcome you all. So say me, say me. It's, I'm here for the first time, so we can, oh, don't be nervous, Daphne. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Now, we are real people journeying through life together, and these socials help us keep this tool fresh and finding ways of using it on the regular. So, and if yeah, just me on the mic and camera, and you can also just, you can mute me if you want. But we're going to play lots of music. We're going to show you lots of examples and kind of explain setting up this journal for the monthly stuff. And I'll encourage you also to join a weekly social so that you can kind of look at weekly pages, and we try to change some things up every time we get, we want to show you lots of examples. So you'll hear, like this morning, y'all, I pulled out for the weekly setup a lot of old stuff, like what's old is new again. And I think we had like a ton of the examples. Those people were there, and I was so excited because it's like, look, it's showing up 2 years later. Here it is. So we love to just share with one another. This is the best group. So I want to talk just a moment about our brand new theme of awareness. This is a quote by Gandhi, and I'm going to read it. I know you can read, but I'm going to read it. And I want you to think about the word Y-O-U-R, your, not anybody else, not anyone else. Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. And I think awareness is really going to help us kind of lean in to agency in our own life. This isn't about anybody else. It's not what people think about you. It's about you, your beliefs, your thoughts, your words, your values. And yeah, it's a good quote. It's a good quote. So, oh, thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, I'll go put I didn't do the pen pal because I was afraid I would fail at, sending the love forward. I can go add myself, or yeah, or Maya could sit forward and on. Thank you. Anyway, I do post crossing, which is a postcard, international postcard exchange, and I have a hard time keeping up with that. Okay. So anyway, awareness. So this is really going to be so centered around you. So we love to start by looking at Meha's letter. She will write, it's April's her birthday month, and she always reminds us of that in April, which I love because it starts off celebrating herself, and that is such a good mindset for all of us to have. And I like to pull out some of the things that pop out for me. Awareness, it's about remembering what's always been true, like its core beliefs, those things that you know. And clarity, joy, confidence, freedom. And then she says it's about leading with intention instead of reaction. Oh, that's so big for me. Not just go, oh, but like like, being intentional with my life, pausing before spiraling. I mean, these words hit, and I had no idea what my next few weeks were going to be looking like. Soften before striving. Choose what feels aligned. We had alignment instead of what simply looks impressive. Remember all the work we did in January on alignment. So I love, love, love this. So tonight we're going to start off by our little staple opening activity. This has become kind of what we do. We're going to do a monthly acrostic poem, get our brain churning and thinking about what awareness could look like in our life. If you've already been to a monthly setup and you're here to finish up, and I've got some of those secondary activities to suggest that you look into while we open together. We'll do our March reflections and then set our April intentions and then work on those two big trackers. And then if you're brand new, I'm going to encourage you to try to catch a weekly setup so that you can set up those weekly pages. So, as you know, the acrostic poem is when you take one letter, all the letters in a word one at a time, and you create a poem using one word or lines, sentences, phrases. I've got some examples because the people who were here Friday night dropped their poems in the chat in the Sonder Club, so I was able to pull some of those. There's no right or wrong way. Awareness could be that word that's buried in the middle of lines and sentences. So let's take a look at some great examples here. This is from our Sonder Club. You can see this one, see how awareness is in the middle of each one of those words. And then the notes page, where your index or the notes section on your index page, page one, is kind of a fun place to do this acrostic poem if you don't normally use that space. You could do this on a blank notes page. Some folks will go to a weekly scratch pad and work on their acrostic poems. So these are just really great. I love how they're always different because we really are kind of taking a look. And yes, it's okay to go get help from the life coach app. If you do life coaching with Silk and Sonder, or you want to Google some words, here's some more examples. We also have synonyms for awareness. So maybe those synonyms show up for you and speak to you. This slide was created by Maya. She always creates our skeleton slide deck, and then we go in and, put what we want in it. But she always pulls something wonderful together for us to look at and be inspired by. And then I've got some alternate activities for you, or additional. You can make an acrostic and just use the word April, the name of the month, or birthday if it's your birthday, or someone's name. Maybe there's someone in your life you're celebrating and you'll write a poem about them. You could do a word cloud for the month. Just start popping those words somewhere, or go to page 3 and work on your personal definition for awareness. And I love this because I'm always curious about, like, what did I write at the beginning of the month? And now after I've worked through it, what do I think? How does this still fit? We also love personification of the month. So pretend you're writing to a friend. Goodbye to March. Write a note to March and tell it goodbye. And I do plan to write a letter to this month because I'm not real happy about it. But I'm going to try to welcome in April and the new opportunities that may come out of this very tragic thing. Relationships with my nephews, a little more intentionality with those young men as they begin their journey without their dad. I can see some neat opportunities coming forth from that. You could also try your hand at poetry. It is National Poetry Month, so perhaps you do a haiku or a tanka and give that a try. So, yeah, Nathaniel, I love that. Maya, thanks for the lesson plan. It's always nice when it's already there. So I'm gonna just put on some music and go back through these slides. And if you're comfortable, if you've already written your point, drop that in the chat because your words could inspire one another. And then we'll get our awareness juices flowing, and we'll get into the rest of our setup. Alexandria shared that she started off with a lighter point and it got darker as she went along. And I think that's so interesting. I'm so curious, Alexandria, about what you'll discover as you start thinking about awareness in your life. Y'all have some very powerful words. I mean, just scroll through and look at these acrostic poems that you really have your brains kind of wrapping around that idea of what awareness could look like. So I love that we were able to share, yeah, and share that in share that in Sonder Club, and wherever you're comfortable, share. Kimberly wrote a letter to April, favorite month. Yeah, it is a good month, isn't it? We are done wintering, like officially, like spring arrived last week, and it is time to bloom and blossom in however whatever that means, whatever opportunities are coming your way. So I love that. I love writing a note to the months. Alrighty, so let's now take a look at our March reflections page, which can be found on page 8. And I like to tackle this page in two sections. I'd like to look at our wins, challenges, and favorite moments first. I haven't written mine. I'm not there right now. So I'm gonna maybe work more on my start, stop, and continue space. But I would like to encourage you to maybe just don't look at the bottom part right now. Let's go back. Let's look at the reflection of the things that we're celebrating from the month of March, the wins that you had. If you have your March journal, go look at your roses and your buds and find those wins and those favorite moments of the month, the things that made you smile. Go take a look at your photo album in your phone. What images did you capture? Did you find like some new accounts to follow that are helping you with your bloom scrolling instead of your doom scrolling? All those small little wins and happy things that we see. And then, of course, the challenges are those things that didn't go right. If you did your rosebud thorn reflections, they're going to be your thorns from the month. Go take a look at those and then look at your calendar. Maybe even open your email up and take a look at your emails. And I'm looking, I feel like my screen just froze. Okay, now I'm back. Take a look at your emails, and you might be reminded of great meetings that you were involved with, or someone sent you a thank you note, or so that will help you. Robin just said, I removed social media. Yeah, it's so free. And you know what I did? I haven't removed it yet. Baby steps. I put it on my next screen. So I have to like intentionally swipe to that. And it's really helped me. And I keep telling my husband that I did that, like hint, hint. And he'll say, you keep saying that. I know that's what you did. Like I don't have to keep telling him, but it's really helped me cut down on just that mindless opening. So, yeah. Okay. Anyway, let me stop talking. Let's celebrate our reflections for a few minutes, share in the chat, and then I'm going to come back and we'll just talk about that start, stop, and continue box for a moment. right. Keep working on this because sometimes when you start writing, especially those good things, other things pop in your head. I'm actually waiting until April 1st to go back and look at my reflections because I do have a very joyful Tuesday ahead. My little granddaughter's going to be 5, and so I want to just write about that favorite moment and how that day goes. That's going to be a really good counterbalance for me. So keep writing. And while you're doing that, I want to drop down to the bottom of our page and look at this start, stop, and continue box. I like to kind of keep it separate. It's just me. And this to me is kind of like building our foundation for the month. Like it's getting our mindset into what we want to kind of manifest for ourselves. So the start box, of course, the things that aren't being done that ought to be done, or you just want to try experimenting with something new, getting a new rhythm, routine. Of course, we want better results. So, what could we start doing to get that? And I love this example because instead of start, they wrote a little re on top of that. So, is there something that maybe went away and you want to bring it back around into your life? It's something that served you well. So you could maybe do a little restart there. And of course, the things that are not working that that you need to stop doing, put some boundaries in place, say no. Remember when I showed you that Gandhi poem about it's about your actions and your beliefs. It's not about others. So what do you maybe need to put into place that you can say no to? Stop doing so that you are serving yourself with a lot of love. And then finally, what are you I know you're doing a ton of stuff right. So stop for a moment and think about, what's gone well. What do you want to continue doing? We've got a couple of other ways that we could set this up. I really like the idea of maybe you could make it a theme box. If there's a relationship you're working on with a particular person, what do you want to start, stop, and continue? Or is it something having to do with your health or, rest or nutrition or more movement? What do you want to start, stop, and continue? Perhaps you have a word of the year. You have some habits you're looking at. You use our theme of awareness here. This upper example is that asking yourself the questions to just kind of make it very clarified. So, what is it that you want to start? Why? What is your why? Write that down, and then how? Maybe put a little, inspiration that can show up in your weekly spreads with your to-do list or your goals or your habit trackers. The one on the bottom is really cool because this is taking a word of the month, which was refine. And it says, to feel balanced, I need to refine my routine and habits. And so they are making that connection to balance. And then they have broken that last box. They're using it as their monthly plan with a focus on each week. So, week 1 was getting the morning routine looked at, and you could see how that could transfer into that weekly setup spread that we do. Week 2, night routine. Week 3, movement. And week 4, hobbies. So, I kind of love that. And then we can do another kind of repurpose if you want. And we just ask ourselves the question, I'm feeling X, Y, Z because of A or B, and I want to fill in the blank. And so here's a really good example of that. And so instead of I want to feel, they put I need. So I feel this way because of whatever, and I need, and then put that. So it's kind of a nice way to repurpose this space that still serves as that foundation for the month. Let's put on a little bit of music while you work on this space and share where you are landing this evening. Alrighty, so I know you were nose down in your journal, but Amanda is asking for any tips for limiting screen time. So dump them in the chat because we can all benefit from that. What have you tried? What works for you? One of the things that I thought about, Amanda, was I think Kimberly L a long time ago, like that was a reward. Like when she set up some things to do that week, and if she did them, her reward was like getting to just do mindless scrolling and not feeling guilty about it. So yeah, so like you could just like dangle it as a carrot in front of you. But yeah, timers on the apps, brick I've seen at yeah. So keep dropping those because I think that's something we all know we should do and we don't like we should. So I love this community. And also a lot of talk about libraries, which makes my heart really, really happy because we are a lot of us are library people here. And I would like to know, somebody said I use my library for seeds, getting seeds, and my library is just starting to do that. But you know what else my library does is at the beginning of the month, this year they're having a spice a month. And you get to take home like 2 tablespoons of a spice, and it's got the sheet of the country of origin and a couple of recipes. And I am just thinking that is so fun. So if your library does something cool, drop that in the chat because we could go and we can go bug our librarians about that. Okay, let's now go take this knowledge of our start, stop, and continue into our April intentions, which are on page 9. We have these beautiful categories, 6 categories, but you can change any of these up. If these don't work for you, make them your own. Let's go through some ideas of how to set this page up, how to make it jive with your life. I'm feeling so much better being around y'all. Just wanted to say that. So you can see there's that little example over there with the post-it notes. And if you're a little worried about committing right away and you want to kind of play around with what you're hoping the month to bring, just use post-it notes and then you can go back and commit to pen and paper in a few minutes. After you've sat with your journal and kind of thought everything through and looked at your habit tracker, and then you can resync those intentions. We say, of course, use the new theme. Anytime you can gravitate to the theme, and man, this one will work with I will be aware of. You can kind of do that sort of affirmation viewpoint. You can take an area that you're working on, self-love or self-talk. I shared a couple of nights ago. I'm going to really be doing heavy self-care this month, all about really doing heavy self-care, not all the other to-dos. There's a million of the other to-dos, but this is what I need this month. And then we've got some ways of setting the pages up. Things to let go of, things to embrace, using songs or lyrics or book titles for filling in the spaces. So there's a lot of awareness type things happening this month. It's Stress Awareness Month, Parkinson's Awareness Month, Autism Awareness Month, and then Child Abuse Prevention Month. April was always a really big thing. I was in early childhood for a career, and we did lots of events and outreach around that. Pickleball Month. It's National Poetry Month. Try your hand at some poetry. Maya said at Friday night setup, she's challenging herself to read a poem a day this month, and I love that idea. Financial Literacy Month, that might play into your money management space. Perhaps you celebrate National Volunteer Month, and let's look at some examples. So we always say Change categories up to work for your life. You might only use four of these boxes. You might not want to do six intentions for the month, and that's okay. Leave two spaces blank, and maybe that becomes your mid-month check-in, and you go and do a reflection on how you're doing on your intentions. We have some different categories that you could use if you're wanting to, if something doesn't hit right. Several of us are retired, and so maybe your professional goals get changed into something else. I tend to do learning goals for professional goals. Yeah, time to go do some rereading. I love that, Nathania. Mary Oliver, I've got my book by my bedside table because Maya inspired me. Then there's the idea of duality. So I want more of something and less of something, or I want to embrace this and release that, or choose this and release this, or start this and stop this. So I love the idea of exploring the duality that might exist in our life. You can see a really great example of this person setting their page up. And, key relationships, look at what they put. They want more face-to-face time and less time on screen. So, like aligning with our chat. So I love that. Um, we've got some other examples here. We always say, Maya says, stickers want to fulfill their destiny. So use stickers if you've got great stickers. You can use one single word to encapsulate this idea of an intention for your month. You can use the theme of awareness, and you can see the one up above, or I'm sorry, the top right hand one was about connection, connect. So that was using a theme, and then you're reminded that maybe you use awareness to inspire how you set this up. And it could be in the form of a statement to support those intentions by I will be aware of in each of the categories that you choose to focus on this month. And you can see some examples there. And then I love to show you the one that says statements to support intentions, because in light ink it says, I commit to learning. I commit to God's Let's see. I commit to learning God's word, and I commit to growing closer through daily prayer. I commit to losing 16 pounds. I commit to providing my best effort in the challenge. And it goes on and on, but I laugh at the key relationships because I just see sexy cleaning and I think it's funny and I needed to laugh. So I threw that one back in there. But it's really, I continue to allow myself to feel sexy, and I commit to allow to cleaning to build family bond and peace. So yeah, I love that. Okay. I know I'm just chattering along. We've got example there of song titles or lyrics. That's a good way. And so they have chosen a favorite song, have written I want, and they fill in a sentence there. We want to keep these very broad. They don't have to be very detailed. And then the one on the right has done some I am statements, and then they've supported themselves with a quote for those spaces. Love this March intentions here that asks the questions in each space. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. And so that's what that WWWWWWH stands for. And so just kind of thinking about how this is going to play out and what they need to embrace. And then the one on the right, you can see that is three things that they are focusing on: mental health, physical health, and relationships. When we keep things simple and clean, we are probably going to be very, very successful with how we set up our intentions. Here's a couple more for you to look at. Always love a doodle. Anytime you can tap into your creative self. And then, yeah, that envelope, when y'all were talking about it already, you kind of draw what a back of an envelope looks like. Your intention goes on the flap. And then each other section has some ideas to support that particular intention. And you can see spiritual health has been changed to mental health on the one example on the right, and personal life has been changed to home life. So, yeah, there it is, Leanne. So, it really is about making this your own. Don't feel like you have to just fill this thing in and go with it. Take what you need. Now, if you're sitting there going, I need help. I kind of feel like I need to focus on this. Drop that in the chat and let us help you find those words. Let me put on some music and I'll go back through these slides so you can take another look at them, and then share what comes up for you. All right. I love the idea of incorporating play as a part of a relationship. Cindy shared that she's going to be building Lego with her mom, and what a great way to connect, to build, to chat, I just love that. Like you're doing literal connection and then connecting with her. That's pretty cool. I really love that. And then if you notice, Nathania shared in the chat that she is starting her intention statements with "I will be aware of." So that intention of embracing the monthly theme and then letting that play out with how she's setting it up. I think I'm going to add play to my habit tracker because of the talk of Lego and stuff. Like, how can I find moments of play in a really hard month? So I'm excited about that. That'll be after my poem a day. So let's take a look at those mood and habit trackers. We're just going to flip the page over. We'll start with page 10, which is our mood tracker, and I just repurposed mine. I'm not going to use it as a mood tracker. I'm going to use it as a move tracker. And so I just set that up with Y for yoga, W for walk, S for strength, B for breath work, F for floor, and J for jump. I'm trying to do some jumps every day. The internet tells me it's important for my joints. So this tracker helps us when we use it to track our moods. We can start seeing trends in our lives. You might notice that when you're at work, this tracker may be a little not as happy as your weekends. So we look at that, we look for those trends. And when you notice trends, then you can be good to yourself and bring in things to maybe help shift that. This is a great mindset tool. So, yes. Yes, we have two teams here. Well, three, really. We have Team Circle, Team Hexagon, and Team I'm just glad that there's a mood tracker. So, no right or wrong there, but this month is our Hexi mood tracker. And we're going to start by talking about taking some of these moods, plugging them in, and then ways that you can take a self check-in to see how you're doing. This is a great feelings wheel with all the feelings there. And so we suggest starting with those core feelings and then maybe slide out into those pie wedges that you see to get a little more specific. Do a couple of positive moods and maybe a couple of sort of neutral moods, and then maybe a couple of the tougher moods to track. We want to make sure that we're finding those moments of joy and happiness as well and where they show up. So you can focus on awareness this month. Maybe you're really going to hold yourself accountable to doing these check-ins with yourself and how your mood is. You can fill in every emotion, or you can just maybe think about your day and do an end of day reflection on it. And so, today I was mostly happy. I was mostly content, whatever your moods that you've chosen. You could even do a little bit of a repurpose here and start off your day with a mood tracker and sort of manifest the mood that you want for that day and write that in. So it's kind of up to you how you set that up. Here's some examples of what folks are doing. And I wanted to point out the one on the right because they've also used this as a tracker to kind of like, can you see sort of in the middle of the month, they had some sick days. And so they've actually written sick on top of that hexy. And then they've added some extra things. And their feelings were angry or frustrated, content, happy, overwhelmed or anxious, sad, and then drained and tired. So if you see purple, so I want to let's take a look at the 21st, mostly content with a little bit of feeling drained and tired. That's that color coding. So I thought that was kind of a neat way to use that. Another thing to suggest is maybe you draw around your days that are different from the other days. And what I mean by that is like, if you have a Monday through Friday job, maybe you draw around your weekends to designate those because your moods might be different from your work days, vice versa. Here is this is a circle tracker, but in the middle, there's also some coding for like some symptoms and some other things that might be going on in their life. So I love how they're kind of double dipping this as somewhat of a symptom tracker, looking at migraines. If they've had a bad pain day, they're tracking anxiety attack within the middle of, looking at what their moods are. Was it a manic day or were they having trouble sleeping? A little eye for insomnia. So then they can sync up like these things that they're noticing in the middle and how did that sync with their moods. So that's really a fun way or a good way of getting some information on yourself. And then we have lots of ways to repurpose this tracker. So I'll go through these really quickly and then I'll put on a little music and we'll fill this in. But you could do a rate your day on a scale of 1 to 6, 1 being tough, 6 being great. There's that example there on the bottom. The mood tracker that's on the upper left has the hexes divided up, and it's kind of looking at if they feel stressed or if they feel calm, or maybe a little shutdown or water. Had they had their water that day? And did they go for a walk? And have they taken a mindful pause? So they're kind of using it with a lot of different things there. The one over on the right is one of my book trackers. Like I said, I'm going to use mine as my move tracker this month because I know I'm not going to want to move my body and that'll maybe hopefully inspire me to do so. There's a workout tracker on the right, and then on the left here is daily satisfaction and asking the question, was my day what I wanted? What and how did I want my day to be? Did my day meet my expectations? And so they've sort of got a satisfactory scale at the top with very unsatisfactory, unsatisfactory, somewhat unsatisfactory, and then it goes toward being very satisfied. Sorry. We've got a calorie tracker. We've got a how to start your day in a good mood. And it's 6 steps. And for the number of steps that they actually do to start their day, they give themselves a sticker. So if they do 3 of those 6 things that are written around the tracker, they get that kind of peachy colored sticker for that day. If they do all 6, they get that darker colored sticker. If they only do one thing to start their day in a good mood, they get a light blue sticker. And then the one over here on the bottom left is just acknowledge your mood. I love that. It's just a check-in. They're not really checking a particular mood. They're just giving themselves a pause to acknowledge their mood. There is a step tracker that is color coded, another movement tracker with how they've moved their body, walk, yoga, Zumba, doing weights, dance. And then this is Leanne's old business habit tracker that I pulled from a long time ago. And those are the tasks that she wanted to make sure was happening in her business. So, getting on Instagram, posting a story, create and learn. And so she tracked those actions that paid it forward into her business. So lots of different ways. So if you repurpose this tracker, let us know what you do. And also, if you're using it as a mood tracker, let us know the moods you're tracking. And I'll go back to that feelings wheel and the other slides as you work in on this space. I love, yes, Maya, we love you. Full disclosure, doesn't always use the whole month's worth of tracking. Me too. That happens to me. And like Michelle says, the honesty and realism. I mean, we're all real lifers here, so that kind of happens sometimes. Now, this tracker we love, love, love. I do. I love this tracker. And this one I'm looking forward to diving into. This is the one I've written my poem a day on, and then my gratitude jar. And I'll be doing the gratitude jar social, and so I'll have something to share with you there on how I'm going to be using that this month. This tracker will help us go look at your start, stop, and continue space. How could that inform this tracker? Because they might show up here, that might inspire this. Now, that reminder, y'all do not have to fill in every single line on this tracker. You can really use this by, leaning into awareness as your focus. What do you want to be aware of? Or pick a theme, or just bring those habits from last month right on over. We want, really, if you're trying to build new habits, they should be showing up for a lot of days until they are hardwired in your body. And let's take a look at some examples from y'all. You can see the habit tracker upper left. There's some blank spaces. Sometimes that happens. Drop down to the one below that. I love how they have designated the days that are kind of different, by drawing lines across that. So you can see the third and fourth have a solid line. The 10th and 11th have a solid line. So those are those weekends. And the dotted lines might have been holidays. I'm thinking maybe that was around New Year's this tracker was used. The one over there on the right, you see that they have left two of the spaces blank. And I love how they're using the tracker. It's not just checking in, but actually tracking the ounces of water by writing that amount down, the minutes of movement, the servings of fruits and vegetables. So, very deliberate and intentional with those habits. The minutes that they are practicing mindfulness, as well as the minutes they are reading. So, very concrete stuff. I love that. All righty. And then we've got some really colorful trackers going on here. I love this one on the left because look at the 12th and the 13th. And it was just like end of the week rush, and drew a line around it and just wrote that. And they're giving themselves grace for, that space not being done. It was just that tells your story. You've heard me say the blank spaces tell your stories. We've got that beautiful, colorful tracker over there where they're reading and enjoying nature. And then something fun and creative, that third habit. And then very tiny, they've written in what their fun or creative thing is. And it's, an audiobook, or I went to Olive Garden. So they're kind of tracking that little mini journaling. Oh, well, thank you, Kimberly Kirkland. I love that. You had to write really tiny. It's like a little mini journal response right there with what was great about your day. Thanks for sharing that in Sonder Club. Here's a great example on the left about highlighting those weekends. And then you can see there was some paid time off there. And so I love that because it can really show you, you might be better on a weekend than the weekdays. And then we've got the example on the upper right about just putting four things. The one below that only has three things, and they've used colored ink to mark the blank spaces, just to designate that. Couple of more. That's an old one, that eek COVID got me. So just that reminder, maybe I didn't get things done. This person's my habit tracker never looks all filled in like this person, but I love it. But there's my habit tracker set up, and I was working on some routines with that morning vitamins and sunscreen. I paired those two together because I was forgetting to do my sunscreen. and didn't do every line. So the one in the middle is kind of dividing morning and nighttime habits. And then finally, failing doesn't make you a failure. Step back, look at your whole month, give yourself that grace. If something is empty, it is okay. This is just paper, it's neutral, it's giving you information about yourself. And finally, we have some inspiration for your tracker if you're looking to add anything. So I'll go back through all these slides while you fill out your tracker. And yes, we want to know what you're tracking this month. Are you going to lean into National Poetry Month? And oh, and I was also going to say something else that's really good. If you're having trouble remembering to maybe go check in with your other trackers, with like your mood tracker, or look at your intentions every day to inspire what you want for the month, or go check your stop and continue box. Write that in as a habit, and then you can check it off when you've gone back to those pages that are so important to you. Alrighty, I'm going to let you finish this up. Share, share, share in the chat. Oh, Daphne, I'm going to come in a little bit earlier than I had planned because I want to answer your question. And I promise you, every month I talk about this, and I just plumb forgot this month. So she's asking about the difference between this tracker and the weekly tracker. And that weekly tracker each week can be set up to reflect whatever you have going on in that week. In case maybe there's carpool 3 times. And so you write carpool down and you circle those days on the weekly spreads. But there's nothing to say that the same habits that are on this tracker here can't show up in that weekly tracker. If you need that reinforcement of checking it off twice, you can do that. And that weekly tracker will help you, kind of stay focused on whatever's going on that particular week. So that was a great question. And I usually address it when I talk about this tracker, and I just didn't this month. Head's a little full right now. So I apologize for that. I'm glad you brought it up. I am so proud of all of you for showing up tonight, for keeping this appointment with one another, with your accountability buddies, to make sure that you are using this journal, this tool that will help you, with all the things, your mind, your body, and your soul. So, anyway, I'm really, really honored that you were here. What slides, Janine? This whole thing has been recorded, so you could actually go back and watch the recording and stop on. Was there something specific? I just finished up that habit tracker. But we will be having this available, just the last few. We will be having this is recorded, and you can go back and look. I can go through that really quickly. But I also want to encourage you, share your planner in Sonder Club. All of these examples came from y'all. We want to ask a big favor, big ask. That is, go leave a review about the magic of Silk and Sonder. Go check out Trustpilot. You just put in Silk and Solder, it comes up. You can leave a review about your beautiful journal. Pay it forward to this beautiful program that we have. Go leave a review on Apple and Play Store, Google Play Store, and the Silk and Sonder website. There is our shout out for our personal life coaching. Maya is dropping all these amazing links in the chat so you could grab those as well as the link to the recording. We want to shout out, we've got this new digital version of our journal that is, I always, reflection without the florals. And so if you are interested in that, you can directly link to um, the link that Maya just put in there. This is only available in digital, but you never know. If you are someone who wants to kind of decorate your own page, that would be this is a good thing to maybe give a try. And then there's our songs that we listen to tonight. I will actually drop the playlist. This awareness playlist will be added to as we go along. I'm on Spotify and I have all my lists public, so there's a ton. It's something new every week. I'll scroll through those slides really quickly as we close out. Thank you for all your love and for your support to one another. Appreciate that. This is a really great community. Y'all make it a great one. And if you want to join us tomorrow, Maya and I will be back for both the weekly and monthly setup.